Hey guys, my family's asleep, so I'm kind of whispering a little bit, but it's pretty late at night. Last night, as I was going to sleep, I felt prompted to make this video. I didn't really want to get up, so I told the Lord I would make it today, and then I just got busy and forgot. So, as I was about to go to sleep, the Lord reminded me of my promise to Him, and so I got back up and I am making this video. So, um, this vision that I'm getting ready to share with you actually happened on November 17th. But let me backtrack a little bit and lay the foundation for you. So around November 1st-ish, I was praying and the Lord just said, kind of essentially what He said is what you know to be true of the image of the beast isn't actually what it is. I was like, okay, so, show me. So I'm like, all right, Lord, show me. So for about 3 weeks, I, really was studying intensely about really all of Revelation 13. And at the end of that study, when I felt like I had a pretty good idea, of course, you're never going to fully know until it happens, unless the Lord just shows you everything. But that's not how He works for me anyway. So anyway, at the end of that, about 17 days later or so, I was praying and I said, all right, Lord, I think I have a pretty good understanding of what you're trying to show me. And I just, if there's anything I'm missing, if there's anything else you want me to know about these events, like, will you just show me? So I went to, laid down, was getting ready to go to sleep, and I had this vision. And it seemed like a long vision, but I'm sure it was only about 30 seconds. But anyway, in the vision, I'm outside and I'm looking up at the sky and I find myself underneath a pyramid-shaped UFO. And on the bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of a pyramid is square. And so there were different rings of lights around the bottom. I drew a picture of it. I'm not an artist. I don't know if you can see that right there. So some of the lights were like a ring would be big lights and they would all be the same color, and then another ring would be a different sizes, and they were just all throughout. And then there was a square in the middle that I assume was like a door or something. I don't really know. So as I see this, I'm not fearful at all. I know I'm just seeing it. I know I'm not actually there. And so I said, all right, Lord, is there anything else about this that you want me to know? So it was like I was kind of zoomed in on this one and I could see the bottom. But as soon as I said that, it was like I zoomed out and I saw the whole sky, and the whole sky was filled with them. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of them as far as I could see. And then I just came out of the vision. So then what I always do, I said, all right, Lord, you've shown me this. I don't understand it. I don't know how this ties in with what you've shown me about the image of the beast and Revelation. So help me to understand, help me to make these connections. And so then for about a month, I went down the rabbit hole, so to speak. But really with the guidance of the Lord, just praying and saying, all right, Lord, show me what you want me to show, what you want to show me. I watched lots of videos of, different people's encounters. I watched Christian perspectives on alien encounters. I watched non-Christian perspectives. I read a lot. I mean, it was just intense. My cats are being crazy. But anyway, it was just an intense study, just, everything I could get my hands on, just studying. And what I came to believe, now the vision was the vision, okay? That's all the Lord showed me. He didn't speak about it. He hasn't said anything to me about it, other than I know He was answering my question about that it has to do with the end, and it has to do with Revelation. And so I just, this is what I have discovered and what I believe based on those things. So I believe that aliens are not from another planet. I actually believe that they're interdimensional beings, not intergalactical beings, okay? So I also believe that they are demonic, okay? If you have studied the occult at all, you probably know who Aleister Crowley is. If you haven't, then you can look him up. But he started a satanic occult religion called Thelema. And he claims that he opened a portal and that a demon came through, and he drew a picture of this demon. You can Google it and see it for yourself. And the demon looks like an alien, very much like an alien. And there's all kinds of testimonies out there of people who have actually been in the middle of an alien abduction and have called on the name of the Lord, and the abduction has stopped, which means to me that they're not, and they find themselves exactly where they were when these aliens picked them up. So like if they were in their bed or whatever, so to me, it speaks of a spiritual experience more than an actual physical experience. But if you've ever had a vision or a dream or an open-eyed vision, it seems very real. It's hard. The very first one I ever had, I didn't even realize that it was an open-eyed vision. I didn't even realize that it was a vision. I thought it was real. I'm like chasing this plane that I thought was gonna have wreck in the middle of downtown, and but it wasn't. It wasn't real. But later on that night, when I was praying, the Lord spoke to me and said, "Did you hear anything?" And I was like, "No." So anyway, and that's kind of how I figured out that it was a vision. So spiritual encounters can seem very real, is the point. Also, aliens don't, there's all kinds of evidence that they actually speak telepathically to these people. They don't have like words aren't coming out of their mouth. They're speaking to them telepathically. And so that also speaks to it. Even the spacecraft, there's all kinds of evidence that the spacecraft it's not of this world. It's not like of a physical world, because the way that it moves and the way that it happens, there's just, from a physics standpoint, it's impossible. You can kind of go down this rabbit hole yourself, but I will say that while I was doing this study for this month long, I had intense spiritual warfare every single night. I had to be covered in the blood. I just really don't recommend somebody getting obsessed with this. And I even said, all right, Lord, if, I don't want to open up any doors. I don't want, please, protect me. And I really felt like this was something he wanted me to be prepared for so that I could prepare others for it. And so I did continue the research, covered in the blood as much as possible. But anyway, in the midst of doing that research, I came across this man. And let me kind of back up a little bit. So there's this theory that it's called Operation, it's something, Project Bluebeam. Anyway, they think that it's going to be like a false rapture type event. I don't personally believe that's true. I looked into it. I've researched it. I don't think that that's true. I actually think that it's going to be part of the Great Deception. So the groundwork is being laid right now and has been laid for a long time to view things from an evolutionary standpoint. Also, to have the idea that there might be life out there on another planet. And then also this idea that there could be beings out there that are smarter than us, more intelligent than us, more evolved than us. And there's actually, there's a gentleman right now, I can't remember his name, that I came across when I watched this video. And he twists scripture, and he really is very convincing to a lot of people that Jesus was an alien, that the Ark of the Covenant was actually alien spacecraft. Like there's a lot of people that are buying into this, that believe him, that follow him. And so I believe the groundwork is being laid right now for the Great Deception to pull people away from the creation story and a God that created the world and who loves us and who sent his son to die for us, pulling people away from that narrative and truth and pointing them to this lie that aliens brought humans to Earth and that they seeded them, and that if you want to be like them, if you want to evolve, if you want to, be telepathic like them and be able to fly like them and be able to know all the stuff that they know, then you do this thing. Maybe possibly take this mark or this whatever, this implant. And you can be like them and evolve to your next greater self, your next greater whatever. All of that is deceptive. All of that is a lie. Now, I do want to share this with you. So, in the midst of me researching all this stuff, so take that into account. I'd had another dream, and in this dream, there were aliens, and I was with my family, and I was trying to protect them, and the aliens were talking telepathically to us, and they were coming after specifically the kids, and I was like doing everything I can to prepare my nieces and nephews and my daughter to not be enticed by them, to not fall for it. But each child, each person had their own decision to make. It wasn't like I could make the decision for them or their parents could make the decision for them. It was their decision to make in the dream. And so my nephew, I won't say who, but one of my nephews, he was really enticed by this. And so as I'm talking to him and trying to get him not to, he is really being enticed by them. They knew what he wanted. They knew his desires. They knew how to kind of rope him in. And he said to me something in the dream that I thought was very interesting. He said that he had been watching these people on YouTube, and he has been looking forward to this. Like YouTube had programmed him to think that this was going to happen and it was going to be good and that he should do it. And so I think that's really interesting. I think that points maybe not just to YouTube, but to all media, to everything that, is being programmed into our kids to prepare them for this moment. So anyway, like I said, take that with a grain of salt because I was researching about aliens a lot. But I do believe there's some truth to it. So just to recap, I really believe that these are demonic entities, and I think they're going to be part of the Great Deception, okay? So don't fall for it. Go ahead and do the research now or pray about it now and come to your conclusions now and stand firm on the faith because Jesus is Lord and he is coming back, okay? It's not going to be some false demonic God, okay? It's going to be Yeshua HaMashiach. He is going to come down and the whole world is going to see it when it happens. It says when lightning strikes in the east, you can see it in the west. You don't have to listen. You don't have to hear, that he's here and you come in this room or go out into the desert and see him. You don't have to do that, okay? When he comes, you're going to know, all right? Anyway, have a great night.